Hi there, everybody. My name is Travis Dimmitt, and I would like to welcome you to 61633, a class that's called Curriculum Design. And as I understand it, you guys are all alternatively certified educators or educators who are pursuing your alternative certifications. And I just want to welcome you to that program or thank you for being in that program if you've been there for a while. I myself was an alternatively certified educator when I first got into the education business, several years ago. And so I'm really happy to be with you in this class, and I'm really happy to give something back to this program that's meant an awful lot to me. So welcome to class. Glad that you're here, really glad that you're here, and I look forward to getting to know you guys a little bit better over the next several weeks. So, I need to be kind of upfront about this particular class. It's called Curriculum Design. However, this class, as it was originally designed, was designed for our administrator certification program. So those who have mostly taken this class took it from the administrative lens. So it's curriculum design, but it's curriculum design from mostly the lens of an administration perspective. Now, I'm going to show you what I mean by that as I go through here. But let me, again, just be upfront and say that. It was designed for administrators, and so some of the stuff is going to be a little clunky for you as classroom teachers. And we will work with that to the absolute best of our ability. So I'm mindful of that. I'm mindful that you're not administrators. Many of you probably will be eventually. I was eventually. But it's not where you are right now. And so some of the language and some of the stuff that's in the modules is kind of clunky in terms of your own context. So, being mindful of that, I have tried to go through all the modules and fix it as best I can, give alternative assignments, or I've actually even cut out some of the assignments and things like that if they were just too administrator focused. I've tried. You know your contexts better than me. And so if you're going through and you're like, this is not, I can't get this to work, it's not going to work for me, you know that better than I do. So then I would just say, let's talk about what we can do for you on an individual basis to make that module and the assignment in there more meaningful, whether it's just come up with a completely different thing, modify what's there already. I am 100% willing to work with you on that. But I just need to be upfront about that. I taught this class last year, and it was somewhat off-putting to a few of the folks in here because they weren't going to be administrators. They didn't, that wasn't where they were going to be. And while it is curriculum design, and we do talk about curriculum design from a teaching perspective for a couple of the modules, some of the modules are hitting it from an administrative perspective. So it's not just designing curriculum, it is the maintenance and of the fidelity of your curriculum in the framework of your school. So we talk about walkthroughs, we talk about curriculum from an administrative perspective, from like a school front office perspective, and so it's not just curriculum design in a classroom setting. Again, I need to be upfront about that. And if you look through the modules, and I'll look through them with you here in just a few moments, and you're like, this is not what I want to do, then I would suggest dropping the course and finding something else that would kind of satisfy the component for your alt cert, the hours that you need. If you choose to stay in the course, awesome. And again, I will work with you. I promise, I swear that I will work with you, and we will create meaningful assessments and assignments for this class, based on the objectives as they're set out. So let me just kind of cycle through these real quick. We're already 4 minutes into this video. I didn't intend for this to go this long, but just bear with me. So you got the Getting Started module, which is the Introduce Yourself stuff. The first actual course module is Understanding by Design, which is a specific philosophy of unit design. And so it's going to talk about that unit design. It's going to have an article that moves it from the framework of an effective principle. If you want to do something a little different with that, just let me know and we can work with that. But otherwise, there's the article review there. If you'd like to review a different article, I think I'm okay with that. Just got to let me know, keep me in the loop. And then the introduction is in this first module to the Understanding by Design project, which is an actual honest-to-goodness unit project that will be due, oh, I have to adjust that date, it'll be due at the toward the end of this course, okay? And so you can kind of take a look at this as you go through, and each of the modules will have a better, more specific introduction to this stuff. So this module, the first module, really is talking about unit design and how it is impactful in a classroom perspective for the most part. But then in the second module, we get into this idea of instructional walkthroughs or learning walks for school improvement. And so this is not necessarily curriculum design per se, it is maintaining the fidelity of your curriculum in a school setting. And that's what the walkthroughs are for. And so this is, again, kind of administratory, but there are teachers and teacher leaders who do these things as well. And quite frankly, it's a good idea for you as a teacher, a classroom teacher, to see how other people are doing things and to see how they're being faithful with their curriculum as well. So that's part of that. But again, that's not necessarily curriculum design from a straight teacher standpoint. Module 3 talks about using data as an instructional leader for school improvement, which you do as a teacher, from either the benchmark testing that you do in your class, from the formative assessments that you do in your class, from the summative stuff or from the map stuff. You have data that is collected. And so this module talks about how you take the data and you kind of apply it back to the curriculum that you've written, and how you make sure that your curriculum hits what it's supposed to hit when you teach it in the classroom. Module 4 kind of talks about culturally responsive classrooms and how that works in the framework of your curriculum as you wrote it or as you are writing it. If you write curriculum from just your own perspective, if I wrote it from my perspective as a middle-class white dude, it might not be as meaningful for some of the people who are in my class who are not necessarily what I am. Not everybody in my class is going to be a middle-class white dude. So that's what this module will kind of talk about. Professional development for school improvement. How do you want to learn how to teach better, and how do you want to learn new techniques for delivering and designing your curriculum? That's what Module 5 is about. Module 6 is teacher accountability, and again, from a specific administrator context, there's an assignment in there that I've actually eliminated already. This is going to talk about how walkthroughs or how teachers are held accountable in your school for the curriculum that they teach. And then the last module is an actual interview with a curriculum expert. There's a couple of times we're going to ask you to talk to people who work at your school. One is, I'll go back to the previous one here. The final one talks about this curriculum expert. So the curriculum director at your school, if your school is small enough, the curriculum director is likely your principal or maybe your superintendent. If by chance those folks are not available, I know it's summer, so if they're not available, I can stand in as the curriculum expert. I'm obviously not a curriculum expert for your district, but as a middle school and high school principal, which is what I was a few years back, I was the curriculum director for our school. We were a small school. So I can help you with this. If you look at this and you're like, oh man, I don't want to bother my school folks, my administrators, etc. over summer, totally get it. I'm willing to stand in and be the person that you interview for this. There is another time where we ask you to kind of go out and talk to somebody, and it's this instructional walkthrough module. It's the second module. There's a walkthrough project, and ideally you will communicate with your principal, and that person will help you walk through some classrooms in your school district. Couple things that are going against you on that. One is it's the end of the year, and our walkthrough is really the right thing to do at this point in time. Are your colleagues going to be okay with you walking into their classrooms? There's a lot of stuff that exists there, and so there is an alternative walkthrough project that will allow you to do this differently, and that I'll have more information in the module itself as you go through. But just know that there are a couple of instances where we ask you to talk to school personnel, and it is, we're going to get into summertime with some of this stuff. If you're not comfortable with that, again, I can serve as the surrogate, or if you're really not comfortable with it and you want to drop the class, that's perfectly okay. But as I have said, I'm 1 million bajillion percent willing to work with you to get you through. So, again, we're 10 minutes into this. If if you're listening this far, kudos to you. Again, I'm Travis Dimmitt. This is curriculum design, and it is curriculum design originally designed for an administrative lens. So we can fix some of that. We can take some of that stuff out, and we can adjust it as you go through. But I just again want to be very upfront that that as a classroom teacher, there's going to be some stuff that's here that is not necessarily immediately applicable to your direct instructional practice. I think it is all applicable to you as a holistic educator in your school system, and it's all applicable to curriculum, even if it's not necessarily you as a teacher designing and writing curriculum, except for a couple of the modules. If you have questions, my email is dimmitt@nwmissouri.edu. My phone number, my cell phone is 660-254-4424. Reach out, text me. We can kind of talk about this and make sure that you are in the class that's right for you. But having said all that, I'm really happy that you're here. I'm happy to get to work with some AltCert folks because you're folks after my own heart. I was once literally in your shoes, and I'm really eager to work with you to help you be successful in our program. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you later.